All right, so let's jump right into a fantastic story about wits, magic, and just pure stubbornness. It's from the classic 16th century novel Journey to the West. And really, it all boils down to a simple question. How do you win a competition that's specifically designed to make you lose?
And boom, there it is. That one arrogant line from the Taoist sorcerer Huli. He's feeling embarrassed, he's angry, and he wants to put our hero, a traveling Buddhist monk, in his place, with what sounds like a simple contest. But as you're about to see, nothing in this story is ever quite that simple.
So to really get what's going on, you've got to understand the setting, the kingdom of Chechi. And let's just say, things are not great there. A group of Taoist demons pretending to be holy men have taken over, and they've been making life miserable for the local Buddhist monks. It's right into the middle of this mess that our heroes happen to walk in. So who are these heroes? Well, first you've got the master, Tripitaka. He's got immense faith and incredible discipline, but zero magical powers. Then you have his most famous disciple, son Wukong, the Monkey King. This guy has unbelievable power. He's brilliant, but his patience, non-existent. And that contrast is the key to this whole story.
Okay, so the Taoists see our heroes, and they throw down the gauntlet. And it's not a test of strength or some flashy magical battle. Nope, they propose something way more sneaky, a duel of absolute perfect stillness.
And you have to check out these rules, because every single one is a trap. First, 2 super high platforms, so you need some kind of power just to get up there. Second, you can't use your hands or a ladder. That means magic is the only way. And the real kicker, the final rule, the first person to so much as twitch loses. Game over.
And this right here perfectly sums up the problem for our heroes. Son Wukong says it himself. He can do almost anything, but asking him to sit still, you might as well ask fire to be cold. It's just not in his DNA. He would literally rather die than sit quietly. So what you've got is this perfect, almost comical mismatch of skills. Tripitaka, the master, could meditate for a week straight without a problem, but he can't just magically float up to that platform. And then there's Wukong. He could be up there in a blink, but he'd be disqualified in like 2 seconds. So it looks completely unwinnable, right?
But they find a loophole. The answer isn't one hero doing everything. It's the 2 of them working as one. Tripitaka agrees to handle the hard part, the meditation. And Wukong says, "Don't worry, I'll use my magic to secretly get you onto the stage." It's a pretty clever workaround.
And this, my friends, is where the real battle begins. To everyone watching, it just looks like a serene, silent contest. But underneath that calm surface, oh, it's an all-out invisible war of magic and dirty tricks. So picture this. The Taoist, Huli, floats up to his platform on a cloud, all dramatic. Meanwhile, Wukong secretly whips up a cloud of his own to lift Tripitaka into position. As far as the crowd knows, 2 masters just appear out of nowhere and then sit completely motionless, like statues. The duel is on.
But of course, the Taoist isn't playing fair. He secretly summons a nasty biting beetle and sends it crawling up the back of Tripitaka's neck. Can you imagine that? A horrible, maddening itch, and you're absolutely forbidden from moving a single muscle. That is some serious psychological torture, designed to break anyone.
It's more than just a dirty trick. It's a perfect attack on the senses. It seems completely foolproof. Any normal person would have slapped that bug and lost immediately. So how on earth is Tripitaka going to get through this?
Well, the secret is he isn't alone. Son Wukong, ever the guardian, has transformed himself into a tiny insect and is watching everything. He sees the slightest hint of trouble on his master's face, spots the beetle, and knows exactly what's up. First, he just gently blows the pest away. Problem solved. And then he decides it's payback time.
And he doesn't just, land on the Taoist for a little revenge. Oh no, Wukong goes for the checkmate. He takes his new centipede form and flies it directly up the Taoist's nostril. Yep, right up his nose. This is the exact moment the entire contest flips on its head. That serene, silent duel is about to come to a very loud and very dramatic conclusion. Because let's be honest, there's no amount of meditation that can help you when there's a centipede crawling around in your sinuses. The Taoist's concentration, his composure, that whole facade of stillness, it's just gone, instantly shattered. The original text describes it perfectly. He doesn't just flinch, he screams, throws himself backward, and nearly tumbles right off the high platform. The Duel of Stillness ends in a complete flurry of panicked motion. And just like that, it's over. By his own rules, the first to move loses. The Taoist Huli, for all his big talk and his cheating, has been totally and completely beaten.
So, what's the big takeaway here? I mean, beyond the cool story with magic insects and clever tricks, this is really a masterclass in strategy. It's a blueprint for how to tackle a problem that seems, on the surface, totally impossible. And this table just breaks it down perfectly. The Taoist, Huli, relies on a cheap shot that comes from pure arrogance. He sees what he thinks is a weakness and attacks it, never imagining they might have a hidden strength. Tripitaka brings a passive but critical skill, just unwavering endurance. He holds the line. But the decisive factor, the real game changer, is Sun Wukong. He doesn't use overwhelming force, he uses surgical wit. Just the right amount of power, in just the right way, to turn his opponent's own game against him.
So what this all really boils down to is a lesson in synergy. They won, not just because they worked together, but because they figured out what the real problem was. See, the challenge wasn't just who can sit still the longest. The real challenge was, how do we get our patient guy into the duel, and how do we protect him from cheating? Tripitaka's endurance was the core asset. Wukong's magic was the support system. It just shows that victory isn't always about the most powerful person solving everything. It's about picking the exact right tool for the job and having a team that can leverage its unique strengths to create an advantage your opponent never even sees coming.
And that really leaves us with a final thought. This 500-year-old story asks a question that is absolutely still relevant today. When you're faced with a system that seems rigged, when the rules are designed for you to fail, is it better to try and overpower it with brute force? Or do you find a clever way to break the game itself?